I was sitting out back and my daughter came up to me and she's like, Dad, is today another bad day? And that kind of hit me really hard because like, I don't want to affect my kids in a negative way. So I kind of looked at, like how do I get out of this?
Where are you born? Where are you from? Where were you raised? What would life look like for you as a child?
Yeah. So I was born in Southern California. My dad was originally from Butte, so I don't want to sound like a complete California transplant. So my dad was born in Butte, was in the military. That makes a
lot more sense about your dad. Yeah. Go ahead.
So,
when you said he was kind of a rough and tumbly guy, I pictured he was from Butte. I just assumed.
Right.
Like
100%.
Total sense. Yeah.
Like quintessential Butte guy. Not you guys, but yous guys.
Yeah. Real tough guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, moved up here when I was 6, back in 91. Grew up down the Bitterroot, ran around everything outdoors, hunting, fishing, all that stuff.
What'd your parents do for work?
My dad owned an insurance agency. He still does. Valley United down in Hamilton. And then my mom was a school teacher down in Hamilton.
Did you have your mom as a teacher at any point?
I did. I don't know if you've heard this story.
I don't think so.
So she was a teacher down at the Hamilton Christian Academy. And I had her in 4th grade. And that's when I got booted out of Hamilton Christian Academy because I'd come in and treat her like mom instead of teacher. And so I remember Mr. Walker was our principal, and I pretty much lived in his office a lot.
It's amazing.
Outside of 4th grade, did you get in trouble a lot in school? Is that how you were personality wise? Or?
Yes and no. Like I didn't ever got in any serious trouble. But me and my friends in high school and stuff would run around and get into mischief and, a lot different than what it is now. I would never let my kids do the stuff that I do now or did back then. We'd go out, ride bikes till all hours of the night, and we were always good with our hands. So me and my friend Jeremy used to take things apart and put them back together and just Frankenstein things. So we took this old wood cart, cut a bike in half, put handlebars on the front of this cart. I pedaled in the back, and we decided to find the biggest hill, Bass Lane. And we started at the top and went down it, and about halfway, that whole thing fell apart. And so we walked home carrying parts of this Frankenstein bike and just bloody and road rashed. And, my mom's like, whatever. Like, I would never do that to my kids now. I'd be like, oh my God, we need to go to the emergency room.
Right. It was a different time.
Yeah. My dad's like, yeah, they're fine.
What did you appreciate or enjoy the most about growing up in the Bitterroot?
Just kind of the freedoms. I mean, we live in a different day and age now where there's just a lot more riffraff. We hear stories about like, as soon as the street lights come on, that's when it was time to come home. Like we didn't have street lights out in Corvallis, but we knew that when it was dark, it was like, we better start working home. But we just had freedoms. Like I would never let my kids, we didn't have cell phones or anything, right. No way to track us. And I feel bad for my kids that they don't have that, but it's just a different day and age.
It is interesting, even with my own kids, how just like that story, I'm like, I would never let my kid go do that. But it's exactly how we grew up. I mean, we did the exact same thing.
And some of the best memories of growing up.
Right. Yeah. 100%, drink water out of the hose. Like, can't do that.
Out of the ditch. Like,
100%.
Swimming in the ditch. 100%. Like, we don't let our kids go near the ditch. Like, it's so crazy.
Yep.
Growing up as a kid, looking at, with your dad in the insurance industry, your mom was a teacher. What were your hopes, dreams? What did little Jed want to be when he grew up?
God, I've always just kind of been.
Was there ever a little Jed?
No, I've always been a big dude. Yeah, I've always been a big dude.
Okay.
No, I think that I wish I could say like, oh, this is the path I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I've always been good with food, as you can probably tell. So I kind of through college and whatever, I've always worked in a restaurant as long as I can remember, from the little Euro stand packing fries. After I got done working for my dad, the insurance agency, I'd go over and, take orders and pack fries at the Euro shop. And, that kind of snowballed into being a server down at the Relay and Chateau, the Triple Creek Ranch.
How'd you get into the food industry, or what was it about?
Just
food?
happenstance. It was always
Yeah.
easy to me. So I just kind of went down that food path. And then after college, decided that it would be a good idea to get back in the kitchen. And so I started cooking, I moved to Hawaii for a short stint. And then moved back to Missoula after I ran out of money. And then,
So about 3 weeks later.
yeah, no kidding. Right. No, I was there for about 6 to 8 months. I can't remember exactly, but
And you were just cooking in Hawaii?
well, I moved down there. I called this place and they said, yeah, we'll hire you in the kitchen, but you're in Montana. And I was like, yeah, like I'm ready to move. So I packed up everything, sold my truck, like moved down there. I walked in and I remember it was the coolest place that I almost worked at. Cause like you have to go down these escalators and there's these huge like fish tank, open top fish tanks. And there's like hammerhead sharks swimming around. I was like, dude, this place is going to be sick. And I walked back in the kitchen. The guy's like, I never thought you were serious. Like I have a dishwasher position open. And I was like, I'm out of here. So moved everything down there for nothing. And then decided, I had saved up 15,000 to move down there and ran through that pretty quick.
Dang.
What were you doing with your day? What island were you living on?
So I was living on Oahu. I lived in Ava Beach, subletted a bedroom in an apartment and just was like, all right, we're doing this now. And then, kind of got mad at that. So I was like, well, I have enough money. I don't need to work right now, which was a huge mistake. Ran out of money completely. So then essentially just left that apartment and got a tent and lived on the beach for a while. And I remember calling my this is kind of shows you who my dad is. I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I need help. I want to move home. And he's like, well, I'm not sending you money. So you got to figure it out. And I was like, cool, this is neat. So, my mom, who's just a sweetheart, just hooked me up with a person she went to college with like 40 years ago. And he let me move into his house. He worked for Hawaii Right to Life. So he said, if you're living here, you got to work. So you can work for me. And I was like, cool. What does this look like? And so he goes, well, we make the picketing signs. And then I need you to go stand out on street corners. And I was like, that's not what I'm going to do. Like, no way. So he goes, well, you have to have a job. So I do have a buddy who works construction. He owns his own company. You can work for him. So I worked for him. And my sole job was to take out the jalousie windows out of old houses, those little shaker windows, pop those out, stack them, wrap them, and then put them in the back of the truck and then go to the next job and do the same thing. And I made, I don't know, $2,500 in a month doing that. And then that was enough to fly home and afford first month's rent in Missoula, Montana.
Wow.
So I was like, cool, I'm out. Move back here.
Where was your first job when you got back to Missoula?
So I actually got a job at Best Buy down in Oahu and never worked there, but got the job and they just transferred all that to Missoula. So I worked at Best Buy and in Missoula.
So you transferred here without ever working a day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
how long were you at Best Buy?
6 months. Yeah. 6 months. And then I then I got the job at Blue Canyon in the kitchen, started taking that seriously. And then they promoted me, or demoted me, as you say, to the breakfast guy at the Hilton. So I would come in and I love that job. I'd essentially go in at 4:30 in the morning, get all my prep done. And one of my favorite memories of that job is there was a dishwasher named Dave, a special needs guy. And he was just one of my favorite people in the world. Nobody wanted to work with him because he was slow. And I was like, give me Dave. Like, I'll take Dave. And he'd come in and he'd go, hey, big guy. And I'm like, hey, Dave. He's like, sure, hungry. I'm like, yeah, sit down. I'll make you breakfast. And he clocked in 5 minutes ago and he's ready to sit down for breakfast.
It's awesome.
But anything he needed, I had his back. And then in turn, it was like, Dave, I need you to hurry with this. Oh, you got it, big guy. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
What was it about the food industry that appealed to you? You said earlier that it just came easy, but
yeah, it just was a natural thing. I've always been good with creativity and food and working a rush, And I've worked with a lot of culinary kids that came out of culinary programs, and they just don't know how to prioritize. They don't know how to, I'm going to do this ticket, then move on to this ticket. And that's just not how the food industry works. It's, you got to have, you got to rail full.
Did you have any professional training, culinary
Nope.
arts? Any?
I looked at going to school, but was like, at this point, I'm already cooking professionally. So why stop this and go to school? So I've always said there's two ways to become a chef, and that's the traditional, school, work your way up, or just grind it out. And I just kind of grinded it out. And then left that job to go to the ranch club. That's kind of where I found my love of golf introduced to. But just kind of worked out at the ranch club, and I loved that job. That was a cool job. They gave us total creativity and kind of no holds barred to do whatever we wanted.
So you could create the menu, you ordered the food, whatever you wanted, they were okay with.
Yep. And then I met my current boss right now, Mike Willett, was a rep, and Willett's just a good dude. So he's like, Jed, I feel like you're super talented as a chef, but Cisco's hiring. And I was like, cool, let's apply. And I was getting married that summer. So I was like, grinding out in a kitchen, 8 days a week, morning till night. Like, it's tough. And so I said, this job kind of allows me to hopefully make some more money, but kind of have that 9 to 5. I don't want to be I knew I've always wanted children. So I never want to be the dad who had to ask for Saturday off to go to a soccer game.
Totally.
So I said, this Cisco job kind of fits the bill for getting married this summer. And
what was that role with Cisco?
Salesman, same job I have right now.
Okay.
So there was a trip coming from, grinding it out for 80 hours with, the owner's always kind of in the kitchen, and, when you're there, you work, to a salesperson job where, your boss is around, but you might work with him once a month and nobody's really breathing down your neck. And
was that like the greatest feeling ever?
It was, and it wasn't. So with this job, you have to be self-motivated, to go out and grow and be that customer's go-to person. And I think I missed that the first couple months I was with Cisco, because it was like, wake up at 10 and throw on some Netflix and, hang out. And I just didn't grow. And then I got a new account kind of by default. And then the bonuses started coming, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, if I actually work this job, I can make some money. So then that's kind of 6 months into Cisco. I was probably the worst employee. And then, I just started grinding, and I've never had a down year. And
how long have you been with Cisco?
14 years now.
What is a misconception people have of,
I think everyone looks
food
at
industry?
Cisco and says, they're corporate.
Yeah.
They're the big dog, and, we got to help support local and things like that. I always challenge that with, I live here in Missoula, Montana. Our OPCO, or operating site, is in Billings, Montana. We pay more taxes probably than a lot of businesses, all to the state of Montana. And working for a big corporation for 14 years, I've never felt like it's a big corporation. I've worked with a lot of the same people for 14 years. I have great relationships with those people. And I feel like Cisco is kind of a family, a tight-knit community. So I think the biggest preconceived notion is like, oh, Cisco's this big dog that, goes in and wipes everyone out. It's like, I've never worked for a company who I felt like we care about the customers more, through just helping customers, being there all the time. We do menu analysis and growth plans, and all the things.
I'm just
right.
going back through my.
Because Steven, your background, you were at Cisco for a few years, right?
Yeah.
Doing sales as well. Same role, same job.
4 years, same role, different territory. I was down in the Bitterroot.
Okay.
Yep.
What's your territory?
Pretty much just Missoula. I go to River City Grill out in Bonner and Lola Creek Steakhouse down in Lolo. And that's
how does River City Grill do it? How is their food so dynamic
good.
all the time?
So good.
It's one of the best kept secrets.
Yeah. So Guy's mom actually ran a Mexican restaurant in the mall, the Matador. And so Guy has always kind of had his hand in restaurants. You know, he owned Trineri's. He's owned Burgers from back in the day. That little by
Yeah,
Trent
Malfunction Junction.
Yeah.
Bag of Burgers.
That was Guy's.
You probably don't remember Bag of Burgers, the Matador in the mall.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the third one? Trineri's.
Yep, Trineri's.
Oh,
where Fat
so
Cat
like
was.
icon, like staples.
Yeah.
And Trineri's before Fat Cat is where A&W KFC was.
Yep.
Remember that next to
Yep.
McDonald's?
Oh, you guys are just nerding out.
Oh
on
yeah.
that.
No, Guy's
Yeah.
been a pillar of our community forever, and
I didn't know he was connected to.
yeah, he owns River City, and
Wild.
his name's Guy, but he's such a good dude. Like I don't think people come better than Guy.
Mm.
He's just super nice.
And it's like their menu. Like I was out there recently. My son had a baseball game out in Bonner, and we stopped there, and they have everything from like a garden salad to like lobster.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
They have
kill it.
everything out there.
Yeah,
It's
they kill
unreal.
it.
It's amazing.
I don't know if you ever had it, but go out there for breakfast, and it sounds weird. It's my favorite breakfast in Missoula, Montana. It's the wild rice omelet. And you're like, rice and an omelet? It works, and it's
Really?
awesome.
But this all makes sense because I know they have the Matador on their menu
Yep.
out there.
And that's the original Matador.
There you go. It's all coming
we
together.
We got to get out to Bonner.
Yep.
Jed, what was the best piece of advice or maybe shift in going from a chef to a salesman that you had to learn in order to make this work?
Yeah.
Or what are some of the biggest mistakes you made too?
Like I said, some of the biggest mistakes are just that drive. You know, I came from the kitchen where you had to have it because, you know, you have to be on all the time to no bosses bringing it down your neck. So you have to be able to have that drive and do it and get out there and just grow. So that's so it started like who I am, you know, like we gotta have that drive. We have to get out there, be that guy, be that salesman, be the professional guy, be outspoken. You know, prospecting was always super hard for me. So that's opening new accounts that we don't do. In the kitchen, you're not really told no much. You know, it's like, okay. But with this job, you're told no all the time. You know, no, we don't do business with Cisco. Oh, why? Oh, we had a salesman 10 years ago who.
His name was Steven.
Right. Yeah. Steve, Russet, something like that. But yeah, so being told no and just not taking no for an answer was the hardest part of this job for me. You know, going into accounts who do business with you, we call it at Cisco penetration. You know, penetrating those accounts, growing that business. I've always been really good at because I'm a relationship guy.
So your role is kind of a mix of managing relationships with existing clients, reorders, keeping them going, as well as going out and prospecting and finding new clients.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ultimate sales job because you're an account manager, you're a consultant for their restaurant, and then also you're responsible for bringing on new business. You never stop.
Yeah.
I mean, you could never stop.
Is it
Some people
difficult? Is the decision maker in these restaurants usually the chef, the owner? Like who?
It depends.
Who are you meeting with?
It depends. I mean, so if you take like Tamarack, great place, you know, they have chefs that run those locations, and those are the people that I talk to.
Shout out Tamarack Nachos.
Yeah, the keg nachos.
Yeah.
If you need to feed a family of
Yeah.
16,
Yeah. You'll
got
have
it.
leftovers.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it to go box. But then it's also not only managing that relationship, but managing the relationship with whose name's Chris Mack, super good dude. But he's kind of the overseer of everything Tamarack. So I have to have that relationship as well as the chef relationship.
Is it hard to find time to meet with a chef when they're in the kitchen running a business? I mean,
I mean, we don't necessarily have a lunch break,
right.
but I mean, I get up at 6 o'clock every morning. I try and go to the gym, and then it's just grind it out till cut off at 4 and probably see a couple customers after 4 and then head home and be dad.
It's gotta be tough for the chef too, because they're cooking, they're working, they're prepping, but then also at the same time, they only have so much inventory and food. They've got to place an order, and so they got to balance.
Yeah. And there's most everyone gets it because they're like, I always tell customers, like, all of our inventory is first come, first serve. So if you get your order done at 8 a.m., probably a pretty good shot that whole thing's getting filled. But if you're the last minute Larry dude who's, oh, what time's cut off? 4:00. Like it's 3:50. Like you're not doing a good job in making sure that your establishment is set for success in the week and the weekend. And
so Jed, maybe for our audience, you can help them understand the logistics of what that Billings co-op does for the whole entire multiple states.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just order from Cisco. It shows up the next day. That's all they see. They see typically 2 people weekly. That's me and the delivery driver. What they don't understand is how many people touch that order. So as soon as the orders are placed, they go to routing. So that routing guy essentially is his job to build that truck backwards. And then they load the last stop as the first thing on the truck. So it's in the back. And then once that route is built, then it goes to the pickers. So the pickers have to go out and, they have, it'll blow your mind, our OpCo. So different sections of the OpCo are frozen, refrigerated, all that, picked differently. So if you have a dry good item, it's picked on a whole separate pallet. But these dudes have 3 or 4 pallets on their pallet jack, and they're all drivable. So all you hear is neat, neat, and they go through doors, and they have scanners on their finger. They scan and grab the case and keep rolling, but they're moving a mile a minute. And then from there, they go out to the dock where they're shrink wrapped, and then they get loaded on a truck at probably 9 or 10 at night. And then from there, we have our shuttle drivers bring all those groceries to Missoula, grab the empty trailers from the day before, head back. And then our local delivery guys, hardest job at Cisco, Montana, running down ramps, running up ramps in sun, sleet, or shine,
and driving those
time.
Big trucks downtown into alleys and so on and so forth. And they're not only doing this in Missoula, this is into Wyoming, into North Dakota.
I was just going to ask, is Cisco nationwide, just in the Northwest?
Cisco is nationwide.
Okay.
We have, I think, the Bahamas, Canada.
How do you get that
Ireland.
territory?
Right. I know. Move me to the Bahamas.
So their competitor, I'm assuming, is Food Services of America?
Used to be. So FSA got bought out by US Foods.
Okay.
So yeah, we compete against them. We had Nicholas in town for a short stint. We kind of did a good job of securing business, so they had to pull out of Missoula. New one is Shamrock and the local guy. BNR.
What percentage of Missoula do you guys service? Like, how much opportunity is there still for you? And where's that line between, hey, they're doing big orders versus those small, locally owned mom and pop shop?
We have a 15 case minimum, which can be tough, but at the same time, like 15 cases for a restaurant it's not much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hard part about Missoula's pretty saturated, and a lot of the restaurants have been here for a long time, and they have the relationships. They're going to buy from those people. But that's where a good salesman can get their foot in the door and just start that relationship.
Yeah.
And one of our competitors, Bob, great guy, works for B&R. I have a Bob clause at a lot of my restaurants because they're like, oh, we just love Bob. We can't stop buying from him. And I was like, hey, I understand that, and I completely respect that. So I'm not here to kick Bob out. Bob's a good dude. He's doing the same thing I am, trying to provide for his family. So, but as soon as Bob retires, that relationship goes away. Then you buy everything from me. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Let's jump into our rapid fire questions, and then we'll get back to what you're doing now. So, Jed, what is your first initial memory of Missoula, Montana?
Ooh, the bar scene, probably. As a moving here when I was 21, that's kind of what you do. So I kind of fell down that hole for a long time, as every night, every weekend, I get off the kitchen and meet my buddies down at Red's or Bodega or whatever. A lot of good and bad memories with that.
We don't have a rapid fire question about what's your favorite bar, but we do have what's your favorite coffee shop. It's kind of a coffee bar. What's your favorite coffee shop in Missoula?
I think if I'm sitting down to have coffee and meet with the customer, probably the Break. Great place. Always good pastries and coffees.
A lot of space, a lot of room in there.
Yeah. Love to sit down with customers there. If it's you know, I have 20 minutes and I have a headache and I need to get a coffee and head, probably Lou's Caboose.
I don't want to get you into trouble here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask.
I want to get you in trouble
I'm going to
here.
ask you what your favorite restaurant in Missoula is.
Oh man. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Let's to protect you.
Yeah.
If you're taking your wife to dinner, what restaurant are you going to?
So that's a good question. And then we talk about it a lot with our customers too. Think of like the 5 fingers, right? It's not like, I want to go to this restaurant. It's what kind of food do you want? Oh, I want Asian, or I want a burger, or I want a steak, or whatever. And there's different places that fit those fingers, right? And you, like I tell customers, you never want to be on all 5 because you're not doing all 5 real well.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if I'm in the mood for prime rib, it's the Depot all day. If I want, you know, good bar food, Tamarack. If I want, you know, a good family sit down meal, it's River City. If I want to go, you know, hang out and eat a good steak, it's Lola Creek. So it's kind of, you know, if I want wings, the only place in town, Despo.
Good answer.
Right.
Safe answer. What's your
Fair.
least favorite restaurant? I'm just kidding.
Oh God, you get me in big trouble here.
Which restaurant are you never stepping foot in? No.
What is the weirdest thing about Missoula to you?
Oh man. That's a good question. And I don't want to get myself in too much trouble here, but I think the homelessness probably. Like I think that's weird to me. You know, like I want to go out and walk downtown with my family, and you know, I feel like we're becoming a smaller Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't care for it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Jed, what zip code do you live in?
59802 up on the north side.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you love most about Missoula?
I think the people. I think there's just a good collection of just all these different people in different places in their lives. And like I said, I'm the relationship guy, so I like to keep that open and have a lot of different relationships.
Jed, is there a particular book you've read that has made a significant impact on your life?
I don't read much. It's not that I can't, I just don't. ADD doesn't, my eyes go across the page and my brain is elsewhere. And I'm like, cool, I just read that page. I don't remember a thing on it. I think that's what gravitated me towards the kitchen, because reading a recipe is just finite and I can figure that out. Whereas like sitting and reading a book is tough.
I'll follow up with this question. Has there been a specific mentor or somebody that you admire that's made the biggest impact in your life?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot down the road. And I think that God puts people in your life, even if it's just for a short time, to kind of guide you. You know, I've always kind of looked up to Mike Willett. He's a good dude. Stuart retired and he got that job. So it's nice to have him in that role. Yeah. You know, Justin Brown, he's our DLS, or director of local sales in Cisco, Montana. He's a really good guy. I look up to him a lot because, especially as a father, because, you know, I have 2 kids that, you know, all 10 fingers, all 10 toes, no learning disabilities. They're just, I mean, as sassy as my little one is, she's perfect. Mm-hmm. And his daughter was born with a syndrome where she's severely handicapped. She's, I think, 6 years old, still can't walk on her own. And talking to JB, you would never tell. He is just such a proud father. And, you know, as I catch myself complaining about like, oh, the kids are not sleeping or whatever, he's not going to be that guy who's like, oh, really? Because this is my life. He just fully embraces it. And I didn't know that he had a handicapped daughter for a long time. And then once I did, it kind of put me in check, because I'm like, here I am complaining about a sleepless night because my daughter's sick or whatever. And that guy lives this every day. So I have to be thankful for what I have. But I really look up to JB.
Last rapid fire question for you. If you were to make lunch for Steven and I right now, what are you cooking up?
Oh, see, that goes back to the fingers. What are you in the mood for?
You tell me. Chef special.
Yeah. I've been really experimenting a lot at home with a stone fire pizza oven. So probably,
Sounds good.
yeah,
Do you put pineapple on your pizza?
not a big fan unless I'm going to like marinate it in balsamic vinaigrette and put some nice caramelization on it and then put it on a pizza. But just raw
Sounds good.
pineapple, probably not.
Okay.
So, Jed, you have what seems to be a really great career with Cisco, Montana. And you told us earlier you got to this point where there were just bad days stacking up. How did you manage making this shift to this new adventure that you have?
Yeah. So essentially, about a year ago, I was really going through it mentally, kind of going down the rabbit hole of feeling bad for myself and being a victim of everything. And one day after work, I was just got off the phone with a customer, and it's a big fire I got to put out, and I'm telling my kids, like, girls, quiet, I'm on the phone. Like, stop, go away, I'm on the phone. And as soon as I hung up, my daughter looked at me and she goes, Dad, is today another bad day? And that kind of hit me really hard. Because like I don't want to affect my kids in a negative way. Like I want to be the fun dad, the dad that absolutely loves them no matter what. And that kind of just cut me to the core. And I got to thinking, like, what I'm doing here is not beneficial to anybody. Like spinning wheels, going on this downward spiral all the time. So I kind of looked at, like, how do I get out of this? Talked to a lot of friends, and we talked about like attitude of gratitude. I have this shirt that I wear, I've had forever, and it says raise victors, not victims. And so I kind of really wanted to focus on that and be like, how do I lead by example with that? Like, it's easy to say, but I want my kids to look and say, my dad has always kind of been, firing on all cylinders. So I remember, I'll go into this again, but my dad had a stroke a couple of years ago, and like he was 100% the victim of a stroke and couldn't talk, couldn't walk. He's stuck in the hospital, and through so many words, he just kind of said, I'm done. Like, I just want to die. And I looked at him. My dad's always been, my dad's always kind of been a rough and tumble dude. Like if you get hurt, rub some dirt in it, keep moving forward. And he kind of just shut down as a human, wouldn't really talk to anyone, just kind of became really quiet. And you could tell he was kind of going down that path. So I kicked everyone out of the room and I tried to give him some tough love, right? Dad, this happened. There's nothing we can do about it. A stroke affects your brain. So health wise, you're fine. It's just the wires in your brain are messed up. So how do we put those back together? And the doctor told me that the first week of having a stroke is super important because you can start putting those wires back together. But if you don't do anything, those wires probably won't go back together.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I kicked everyone out of the room and I said, Dad, are you done? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, are you done feeling bad for yourself? This happened. What's next?
How long ago did you say this was?
This was January 2019.
Okay.
And so I wish that my dad could have been like, you're right, here we go. He got furious and kicked me out of the room. And, it is what it is. And I came back the next morning and my dad said, through gestures and hand motion, he could say like 2 words, like, let's go. So we got him up, put the lap belt on him, and I walked him around the hall. And I watched in that moment my dad go from victim to victor. It was not about the stroke. It was about the recovery. And that was huge. So, and then it was something that's helped me personally is I try to replace the words have to with get to, because it just changes your mind frame. So I was sitting in the bedroom, and we have this deal between me and my wife that I'll do all of our laundry and get everything clean, but she has to fold and put away my daughter's clothes. If you have kids, you understand that a million
That
articles.
sounds like a win for you.
Oh yeah. Right. But it is and it's not, because my wife works late a lot. So I'm sitting here looking at this big load of laundry being like, God, like she didn't do it. It's been sitting there for a couple days. Like I have to put this laundry away. And I wish I could say I was like happy about it. I was kind of mad and kind of spinning out. And in doing that, I just realized that if you replace the words have to with get to, it changes that whole mind frame, because I get to put away my daughter's clothes. And then it kind of reminds me of the 5 years of infertility that we had to even have our first kid. We had to do in vitro fertilization to have Sloan. And she was our last ditch effort to even have kids. And, you know, God gave us a kid and she's awesome. And then he was nice enough to give us another daughter. So we have 2 beautiful kids. And it's that mental change from get to, you know, I get to fold my kids' laundry and we get to have clean clothes. We get to put food on the table. God has just been great to me, because I there's nothing I don't have.
And is that all what spurred you into this new journey?
So
Hey, Jed, before we go there,
Yeah.
I usually don't do this, but I'm going to cut you off. I haven't been able to tell you this, and I probably should have done it off camera, but I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
My wife and I are going through some infertility issues, and I think about you often.
Yeah.
Of how you handled that situation with so much grace, and it was how hard it was on you, because obviously you wanted to be a dad more than most anything in the world, and how you continued to have hope. You continued to be a good husband with all the, like you said, 5 miscarriages. And I just want you to know, again, usually don't do this on camera, should have done it off camera, but you modeled what it looks like to be a good man.
Well, thank you.
In the midst of some pretty hardships. So thank you for the impact you've had on my life, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Now you can go on to down ball.
No, well, we'll go back to the infertility stuff real quick. I feel like there's a stigma of people who just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you ever need anything, call me. Because that is hard. And I do feel that any relationship worth having needs to have that hard time. And my wife and I had that hard time. You know, I think it was after miscarriage 4, she looked at me and she said, Jed, I know that you want to be a dad and you're going to be great at it. I can't give you kids. So I think that we should get divorced. I think we should go separate ways, because I want you to be a dad and I can't do it.
Wow.
And that was that fight or flight moment for me, where it was like, I have an opportunity to just back out, but didn't even cross my mind. I said, nope, we will figure this out. Even if we just need to have dogs the rest of our life or whatever, like we will be parents. I'm with you, period. No questions asked. I'm here. And I don't know that our marriage would be what it is now if we didn't have that moment. So lean into that, be together, go through it together. And like I said, if you need anything, call me anytime. But sorry, back to down ball. So with doing that mental change, you know, I got a new account, and I've just been, for the last couple of years, I've just kind of been really doing well with Cisco, which comes with a lot of money. I say a lot of money. My wife wants to go to Mexico every year, so that eats up some of it. But with some of those bonuses, I started thinking about legacy for my kids. And, you know, when I retire from Cisco, what do I have to leave my kids? I mean, I have a 401k and all that stuff, but like, there's nothing to leave them. So I kind of wanted to create down ball as something to hopefully grow into and do on the side, and maybe down the road do it as my sole source of income, but something to leave for my kids, that if they want to, you know, when I back out and they take over, if they want to sell it, They want to work it, work it.
What is down ball?
Yeah.
And how did you come up with the idea?
So being a bigger dude, it is very frustrating hopping. I love to golf and have a huge passion for golf. I hate getting on websites and then all of a sudden it's like, cool, yeah, I love that shirt. I want it. And they sell an extra large and that's it. And being 6'4" and 330 is tough to find things that fit. And you know, my buddy Jake and Ryson, we go golfing and they always pick out a shirt in the clubhouse. I've never been able to pick a shirt in the clubhouse because they stop at XL or 2X, you know, and that's been frustrating for me. So I wanted to kind of create a brand that is kind of all inclusive for sizing. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, medium or a 4X, I got it. And, you know, I don't want to leave people out on a thing that's so cool with golf that, I mean, even off the course, you want to rock what you're into.
Right.
So I kind of came up with down ball and the logo is an airplane going over. And I don't know if you guys golf, but when you fly the green, you're just yelling down ball. God, get down ball. Right. So that's kind of where the idea came from. And I said, you know what, let's do it. So there was a time early where my wife was like, Jed, what are you doing? You know, are we sure this is a good idea? And I was like, we're starting it. We're going, we're doing it. So, you know, we have some money wrapped up in it and just trying to grow the brand and have super comfortable shirts, and we'll branch into other things down the road.
Online apparel, is that really, is that all it is right now?
Now it's just online, no storefront. I feel like with a storefront, you're kind of limited to just local business.
Right.
Whereas with an online store, you can hit, you know, all the US is my goal.
What has been the biggest challenges about this? Is it marketing? Is it manufacturing?
And I'll break it up into two segments. The hardest part about getting it going was just timeline, you know, because like you're excited about something, you put a bunch of time and effort into it. I was up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning a lot of nights just working on website design and figuring out logos and stuff for the back of the shirts and just kind of making it what it is. And then you know, then we did a photo shoot and, you know, she's 2 or 3 weeks out on photos. So like we're ready to launch and I'm waiting on photos. And then the photos came back and it was all worth it because I think the photos turned out amazing.
Who took your photos?
Katie Shea. She's awesome at what she does. She does a lot of wedding photography and other shoots, but she was nice enough to do the down ball. So also a shout out to the Ranch Club. They let us come out there and I worked out at the Ranch Club as a chef for a long time, and Andrew Flickema I called and I said, Andrew, just out of curiosity, could we do a photo shoot out here? And he's like, whatever you need.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So he gave us 3 golf carts, put them in martial mode, and we had full range of the driving range and whole course. And we went out there and had a lot of fun and hit some golf shots and laughed about it. And it was fun.
Do you have any of your apparel in any clubhouses?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I think I'm working with the Ranch Club on putting some in there right now, but
how sweet for the future of guys your size to be able to walk into a clubhouse and buy a shirt from that course.
Right.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And these are awesome.
Thanks,
like,
man.
This is
sick hat.
Such a cool design. Thank you, Jed, for outfitting me. I appreciate that in medium.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're an influencer. Look at you go.
Right.
He hooked it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of continue to try and grow this brand. You know, we started out a little
It's kind of awkward. You guys are both wearing down ball hats and t-shirts, and
I gave you one.
Yours is
right sitting up over there. I didn't know I was supposed to put it on.
That's bad communication.
Wow.
That's my fault.
But
yeah, no. Thank you for the swag.
Yeah,
I'll definitely rock it and wear it. What's next for down ball? Where do you want? What's the vision? Where are you going with this thing?
We're doing a kind of a special edition for the 4th of July. You know, the red, white, and blue. We just changed the logo to red, white, and blue. And then I already have some samples on the way for a women's line and then a kids line. Because again, I don't want, you know, kids and women to get left out. I know what it's like to get left out with the bigger sizes. So I want this to kind of be an all approachable brand.
When did you launch?
We launched last Friday.
Oh, wow. So this is brand new.
Yeah, really recent. Been working on it for months, but we actually did a hard launch on Friday.
This question's either going to like backfire on me or not.
You're good.
Have you had an online sale yet?
We have. We started off pretty
Yes.
strong. Yeah, we started off.
What was that
pretty
feeling
strong.
like when you launched, you go live and it happened?
It's been tough. I never wanted to be the dude in front of the camera as I sit here doing a podcast. I wanted to be the behind the scenes guy.
Sure.
But I did feel like it was necessary to go on Instagram and shout out to the people who have been there for me during this. You know, obviously my wife and kids. You know, my favorite part is watching. I don't have any kid sizes yet, but you know, my kids want the brand, so they're running around in mediums that they're swimming in.
It's awesome,
and they're just been awesome little supporters. My wife, who's been there the whole time, and then my friends who I call incessantly, who are like, "Dude, you've already asked this question, but I'll answer it again." And they've been gracious enough to answer it again.
It's awesome. What's the website?
www.downballgolf.com.
So since launching this, and I see the smile and you perked up, and I know you love Cisco and I know you love your clients, but has your daughters seen a difference in you and their dad and what he's like?
You know, ever since last summer, I just try and be the best dad I can be. So, you know, they're excited. My daughter made the comment like, "Dad, are you going to spend all day in the office again?" And I'm like, you know, I have orders to put out. I'm launching a new business. So probably. But no, it's been a lot of fun. And, you know, it's been fun to watch my kids, because even to strangers, kids just have no filter.
Right.
So they'll walk up and be like, "My dad opened a golf brand called Downball." I'm like, "Thanks, kid." Nice.
The hard part is kids don't understand seasons yet
Right.
of life. Like, you're just in a season. You're launching. It is grind. Doesn't mean you don't care about your kids or your family, but you're grinding now because you care so much about
you're
your
doing it
kids
for
and
them.
family.
Yeah. The legacy.
Right. And they will see it. That'll come. But I think, you know, it's seasons.
Yep.
You're going to get launched. You're going to be rolling, and you're going to be able to go back to Hawaii with your kids while you're selling shirts back at home. And
you're
your
going
clients
to eat
will
at that
cover-
restaurant that said no to you.
Exactly.
That's right.
That was a trip.
Yeah.
Well, Jed, thank you so much for joining the podcast, man.
thanks for having me.
We're excited about your next adventure and
And
getting
pumped
some
for you.
people in some sweet swag. I mean, that is the sweetest part. Golf is so frustrating, but like the clothing is so fun.
Right.
That's like the best part about golf.
Right.
I feel like.
Yeah. I tried to make it approachable in like neutral colors. You know, I don't want to be the guy that looks like a pumpkin out on the 18th green with a bright orange shirt. So, you know, earthy tones to start.
Why do you hate Ricky Fowler?
Hey, if he'll wear a down ball, I'll make an orange one. You bet.
Well, we're rooting for you, man. Anything we can do to help, we're all about it. Go visit www.downballgolf.com.
Instagram,
Yep.
You're on
Instagram,
Downball?
Downball Golf.
check it out. I'm a follow.
Yep.
Start today.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks so much for coming here. Great
Thank
story.
you.
Great meeting you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for including me in the swag
Absolutely.
and the Cisco family.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, this was awesome. Appreciate you, Jed.
Yeah, appreciate
man.
you guys. Thank you.